A quick word to parents. This week's content deals with death and what happens to us after death according to Catholic teaching. Although I try to deal with these topics in a kid-friendly way, if you have any hesitations, I encourage you to listen to the episodes before turning them on for your family. You're listening to
Catholic Sprouts,
the daily podcast for Catholic kids that strives to plant seeds of faith. Hey there, Sprouts. Today is Tuesday, October 30th, 2018. This week on the Catholic Sprouts podcast, we have been talking about death and what happens after death. Today, we are going to talk about one of the hardest, trickiest, saddest subjects that there might be. Of course, we know that when we die, there are various places that our soul can go. We all have the possibility of resurrection and life forever with God in heaven in front of us. However, not all souls go to heaven. Jesus made it quite clear while he was on earth that certain souls who chose to disobey him, who chose to distance themselves from him, would not be going to heaven. They would be going somewhere else, somewhere we know as hell. Now, we don't know much about hell. What we know for sure is simply this: hell is real, and hell is torture. Now, why exactly the souls in hell, who have been sent there for all eternity, why they suffer so much, we don't know. Hell is oftentimes described as a fiery pit where souls are tormented by demons. This might be the case. We know for sure, however, that the souls in hell are tortured primarily because they are completely disconnected from God. Now, that might not sound like a big deal, but let me explain. All of the good things in our life, love, happiness, friendship, joy, even having a full stomach and being satisfied, all of those are gifts from God. There are good feelings that allow us to understand God, to draw closer to him. He has left clues for us in nature, in friendship. He has left clues for us everywhere so that we might know how good and wonderful he is. Now imagine that through your life, you chose every day again and again to turn your back on God. You decided to eliminate him from your life in every way. You committed sin without hesitation so that your relationship with God was completely broken. Well, at death, God simply completed what that person was doing their whole life. They were determined to live without God, and so in hell, they spend all of eternity without God. And since God is all things that are good, hell is all things that are bad, because it is simply a place where God does not exist, where God does not have any of his loving warmth to spread around down there. Now, how does God choose who goes to heaven and who goes to hell? Well, in the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus has a story for us. He talks about the final judgment, where God divides people into two groups, much as a shepherd might divide the sheep from the goats. To those who are going to heaven, he says, "Welcome to my house, come on in. For when I was hungry, you gave me food. When I was thirsty, you gave me drink. When I was naked, you clothed me. When I was alone, you stayed with me. When I was sick, you tended to me." And they go to eternal life. He turns to the other group and says, "Get out of my sight. When I was hungry, you did not give me food. You did not give me drink. You did not sit with me when I was sick." And they said to him, "Lord, when were you in front of us sick? When did we see you hungry?" And the Lord said, "Whatever you did to these little ones, you did to me." Now, this adds even another layer for us who are determined to be with God for eternity. It is not enough to simply say, Lord, I believe. We have to demonstrate that belief by loving Christ in one another. Christ is present in the person before you. He is present in the person at your door, the person on the street, your sister in the next room. Christ is present in that person. And we achieve eternal life by turning towards that person and loving them with the love of Jesus, because they were created by Jesus and He is inside of them. Now, my friends, I have an important challenge for you today. When Mary appeared to the children in Fatima, she gave them a powerful prayer to pray so that no souls might be lost to hell. It's called the Fatima Prayer. I'm going to recite it for you here, but my challenge for you is to find it, print it, and work to commit this prayer to memory. Here's the prayer. O my Jesus, save us from the fires of hell. Lead all souls to heaven, especially those in most need of thine mercy. That's it for Catholic Sprouts today. We'll be back tomorrow, but until then, continue to grow in your faith and truly sprout into the beautiful creation that God intended you to be. One final word to the grown-ups. Thank you so much for listening to the Catholic Sprouts podcast. I would like to invite you to join a special Facebook group just for those that listen to the Catholic Sprouts podcast. We will use this group to connect, to share resources around that week's theme, and simply celebrate raising future saints. To find the direct link to the Facebook group, simply check the notes for this podcast episode.